This is how you build a rock solid
Nice.
core so that you have powerful athletic longevity and you're able to do all of the sweet moves that you want to be able to do, even all the way up to backflips, and to be able to go on a hike or to go snowboarding or to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do, because all of athleticism generates from the core. Now, I don't really care how good a person's six-pack looks if what's underneath is atrophied and if the core itself isn't strong enough to be able to support your spine for daily life all the way up to the most elite strength and skill, which is what I train all of our students on, all ages, all levels, beginner all the way up to very advanced levels. And so I'm going to show you one particular method that isn't often talked about. It is discussed, but it isn't really a lot of people's go-to. And so this is going to be core strength in a static hold, but with the body straight. So this is straight body core strength. Often overlooked, but we're gonna build that today so that you have powerful athleticism for life. Now, I want you to treat each of these moves within this paradigm of training as kind of a challenge. I want you to see kind of where you're at. So we're gonna go through 4 moves in this straight body core strength. And within each of these 4 moves, I'm gonna show you a couple of bridge moves, as we call them, that start to build up to the highest form of straight body strength, otherwise known as a pinnacle move. And so the first one we're gonna look at is our hollow hold. Now, I wanna go into detail here, and I wanna show you, again, this is the basic level, okay? This is just stage number 1. Now, if you don't have the strength to hold a straight body hollow hold with your feet pointed, with the only thing touching the ground is your lower back, with your arms on your ears like that, in this nice curve, then what you can do is, as we talk about in other videos, there's a key element that's often missed or misunderstood or kind of even unknown in a lot of people's training, and that's leverage. So the first thing that we want to do, if you don't have the strength to hold this, we're gonna experiment with this lower level bridge move. This is kind of pre-beginner in essence. And so I want you to see if you can bring your legs out wide as possible and hold that same hollow hold. That is gonna take the pressure off tremendously. A lot of people will actually have back pain in that position. If they've got something going on, if something is tweaked, if they've got a chronic injury or something catastrophic that happened years ago that they need to rebuild from, that position there, just holding that with the lower back on the ground, can be kind of painful. And as I always say, the things that expose the weak links are oftentimes the very things that rebuild those weak links. But I also have to say this, don't mistake videos for instruction. Get into good coaching and good community, and it's like an accelerant on a fire. You'll progress much faster. But getting back to here, we have the legs straddled as far as possible. So I want to go into a couple of different details now. As we're building body weight strength, that key element of leverage, you're going to be able to pull that leverage into your advantage by the increased amount of flexibility that you have as well. So in other words, me taking this shape and going from fully extended and straight here to a straddled position like this is gonna bring in the weight of my legs and help my core manage that weight, because my core is the fulcrum in this situation. And so that leverage point, I have the advantage. Now, the second stage for this, in this nice hollow hold, is bringing the legs together. So it's still straight body, but those legs are in a straddle, but that angle of the straddle is much more acute rather than the obtuse angle of a full split. So holding this position, arms overhead. Now we could do the same thing with the arms as well. We can even drop those arms to the side to help decrease the amount of weight that's on the core. So if this is our pinnacle move, which really it's just a bridge move to a higher level pinnacle move that we'll get to in a moment. But if that one is kind of the most advanced version of the hollow hold, actually, I used to do this a lot. Hollow hold straight like that, and then put a 25-pound plate on your feet and a 25-pound plate on your hands. And that increases the intensity quite a bit. Have you ever done weighted hollow hold? Yeah, like you can, I guess, use ankle weights, but I used to have bumper plates, and I would just put them on. I probably have a video of it, but yeah, it's good. It's good. Just right, yeah, right here. Okay, so we are able to decrease the amount by coming down here, and then increase as we slowly bring that all the way to straight. So any degree in there would be kind of a bridge move of its own, helping you get to that straight hollow hold position. And so that's going to help you build a rock solid core. This is kind of the starting point that we right here that we have in our warm-up. It's one of 6 core positions or shapes that we use just for warm-up. And then in terms of training that, we want to be able to get to like a minute-long hold, even 2 minutes. Even there's some drills that we'll do that go up to 5 minutes in the hollow hold. But we don't want to stop there, because that's kind of just the basics. That's kind of like, for lack of a better word, kind of first grade level. So we're going to walk over here, and as we get into using some equipment, I don't want you to be overwhelmed with any of this stuff. Just think about it for what it is. It's just a weight that counterbalances you. So you could literally use a bed frame or a couch. It doesn't matter. So this one will be the next one. So taking our understanding of the straddle now, we can start from the easy version. And then we holding onto our anchor here, holding the straddle, and then lifting up and holding that position. And that should be fairly easy. It's pretty simple. So once again, holding here, legs out as wide as possible and shifting up. That's sometimes referred to as a candlestick position when we're doing a hang from circ or rings or a bar, and we're hanging in that vertical position. We call it a bat hang. It kind of makes sense. But then again, when we are holding here, we have the full splits, and then we can reduce that angle and then come up here and hold. And those static holds can be done for all sorts of different times, depending on what level you're at. For some people at a beginner or a pre-beginner level, it might be just getting into that position for a 3 count. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Just can you get your body into that position? The more advanced you are, it might be a minute-long hold done for 5 rounds, say. And then the next one, just a straight body, and come up here, feet together, and holding like that. Extending and pointing all of the way up. Which there's going to be application from this to every other aspect of your training. So that position there where I'm high up on my shoulders, that is going to transfer into how well you can balance in your handstand position. Okay, so now we're going to take that and we're going to scale that up a little bit more. So we've done first move on the ground, hollow hold. Second move, this sort of candlestick position. The third move, we're going to kind of combine them, and you're going to see a different angle with my back. At least you should see that. So starting straddled wide, coming up here, and then we're arching and holding at the bottom with an arched position in the lower back. And so that's building the core and wrapping all the way around through the transverse abdominis, everything wrapping back around to your lower back, connecting to the spine. Your lats start to get involved in all of that. And then we start transferring this core strength to full body strength so that the core is able to fire with everything else. And that is a sign of true athleticism. Shifting from working out to training and building athleticism, which fortifies you for all of life and all the awesome, cool, fancy moves you want to do. So then, just taking that angle in a little bit, still straddled, and then arching and holding here. And we can turn that into movement as well. Going through those ranges of motion, we can turn hollow holds into hollow rocks or anything else, but we're just keeping it simple today. Keeping it simple and chill. Some nice rock solid core training in static hold positions. And so we're in number 3 here, and the highest level of this is going to be putting those feet straight up in that candlestick position, and then arching and holding down here at the bottom. And I like to sometimes do these little flutters like this. And remember to be treating each of these moves as a little challenge for yourself. So if you're going through and you're studying, leave your notes in the comments and leave your wins and victories in the comments there too. I've been trying to remember to say that, so I remember this time. Okay, so yeah, put your notes in there, your wins and victories, keep it positive, and treat each of these little bridge moves as a little challenge, just to see where you're at, to see which ones you're able to hold and get into and stay in that position. All right, so now we could come over here to the bars. And like I mentioned a moment ago, we don't want to just train core in isolation. So that hollow hold, like I said, was at first grade level, okay? Just saying, just kind of trying to put things in perspective. And then whenever we get over to the candlestick, you know, that's still kind of the same area. Then when we start doing those levers down, holding on to our anchor point, which is called a dragon flag, some people call it that, that kind of gets into kind of little middle school level. Now high school, college level, we want to start connecting all of this. And so when we're holding that wide straddle, we've got our grip on the bar, nice over grip hang. And we're holding those legs out as wide as possible as we are working that core. Obviously the lats, you can feel the lats all the way down to the insertion, the origin to the insertion of the lat. You can feel your whole core wrapping around to the spine. Everything, it feels, the best analogy I could say is it feels like a tree trunk. Your core just rock solid. So you guys know what's next. When we are developing the front lever, and this is by no means the only way to develop a front lever, but it's one strategy. There's a lot of different strategies, which is why people hire us to help them with their training, whether they're CEOs or engineers or surgeons, physical therapists, ex-military. Wonderful stories of progress that you can check out on this channel and then the Pacific Rim Athletics channel. But everything is unique to you. You've got different strengths and weaknesses than someone else. And so if you are in a position where you want to gain strength, flexibility, skill, sustainability, and do it quickly and not waste any more time, then you can apply for training. But this is going to be the next position here. So the legs are going to come together a little bit, closing up that angle, making that angle a little bit more acute, and holding here. Okay. Again, rock solid core. See where you're at. Treat each one as a little bit of a challenge for yourself, as a diagnostic tool. And this is kind of a little bit more advanced. What I would say is the most advanced would be being able to connect the front lever with other moves. So we call, whenever you put a couple moves together, like 3 to 5 moves, that would be a dyna combo. And then if you're doing 10 or more moves together, we call that a kata. And we use those for level advancement so that people can really see their progress over time. And then it also provides that kind of safety mechanism for people to know and for the coaches to know that you've got all of your strength and skill dialed in. You're able to put that together with other moves, and then you advance from there. And so a true pinnacle move would be this front lever, which is just bringing the legs all the way together. And I'll tell you what, the amount of strength that these moves and this kind of training provides helps me, and not only me, but many other students. A lot of people, we've gotten thousands of applications for training, and a lot of people are coming in really beaten up, broken down, wore out. And I'll tell you this, that the back pain that I've experienced in my past thankfully was resolved through a lot of this kind of training, just building up that much higher level of strength that supports all of the joints. And of course, an active lifestyle, because you can't expect to do 20 minutes of training 5 days a week, and then the other 23 and a half hours of the day is put to not good use, and and it's just kind of taken away from all of the training. So we have that straddle and coming together to that straight front lever. So let's kind of see this in action. I mentioned putting some things together into motion. Okay, so full body strength, taking this all the way up now. So this would be like real training. This is kind of, after we get out of the warm up, after we know our shapes, after we're building all of this stuff up. And this is one of my favorite moves actually on the bar is you're starting in a pull-up position, and then you're going to the front lever and then back. And again, test this. If you can do pull-ups already, you can do a chin hang, see if you can do this. What oftentimes is these positions here will be diagnostic of a weak core, which exposes the potential for back problems. And one thing that happens here is that the hips will drop. So I'll show you the move here. So what oftentimes is that people's hips drop so that angle isn't straight. It's not a straight body core strength move anymore. It becomes a bent body. We'll talk about that maybe in another video. Leave a note in the comment if you want to see folded body core strength. But oftentimes people's core cannot support the horizontal extension of the legs. And so whenever they go from the pull-up position and they extend out, the hips drop. And so see where you're at with that and see if you can go horizontal. And then, like I said, this becomes dynamic, and your core strength can build up to that rock solid level to where you can add motion with that. And so, for example, a nice backflip. So kind of going over the top, and your core fires to such a ridiculous degree. Have you felt this before? Whenever you're doing like standing flips?
Yeah, working knees.
How does it feel? I'll tell you how it seems to me, but how does it feel whenever you're doing a full flip and it's like just that one thing? Like
it's like being on a merry-go-round, that force that wants to suck you off the merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Like that force, and you're just pulling all that in. It's pretty intense.
It feels like whenever I'm doing just a single, just like as high as I can of a backflip, it feels like my whole body is like jolted, and it's like this contract, like everything fires. to an insane level, and then boom, and then you land, and then that's it. It's like a 1 rep max, it feels like. So my strength ninja friend, that's how you build a rock solid core. Athletic longevity, and so that, I often say that I don't care how good